Hi team, so today I'm going to talk to you about how to read a program. I'm going to use the 4-week home program we've put together. So we've been following this and we're up to week 2 now. But I had a few of you guys just asking what all the numbers mean or what sets are, what reps are, how to read tempo, etc. So what I'm going to do is break down what's written down or summarized on that front page or information page in this 4-week home program here, and do it just in one of the programs that we have for week 1. I'll do a separate video on tempo. I think it's a little bit more complicated, and I'll do another breakdown of that. I've written it out a little differently for you guys to understand as well. So with week 1, let's have a look at workout 1 here. At the start of the program, you'll have a warm-up specific to that workout for that day. So these 3 exercises are going to be performed for this warm-up, 30 seconds each. So that includes each leg if it's a unilateral exercise, or just one movement if it's just a bilateral exercise there. With the warm-ups, we want to be doing these 3 exercises 2 to 3 times at least before we move on to the main set. Now this is kind of the minimal prerequisites to jump into then the main program. So if you feel like you need to do anything extra, if there's anything individually that you need to do in regards to previous injuries or any strains or pains that you're bringing into the workout, then please add that to the warm-up there as well. From there, so you've gone through for each of these sets, we're then going to go into the main workout here. So the main workout here, we've got box squats to start with, and you can see next to box squats you've got a letter then a number, so all the letters are just A in this case, but the numbers either go up by 1 or replicate the number below it, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's look at A1 here. So A1 shows us that we've got a box squat and there's no other number that's the same as 1 there, so you're doing this exercise solely by itself, not in a superset. With the box squat, we've got 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps with a tempo of 3021, rest of 60 seconds to 90 seconds, and some notes here on how to perform that exercise. So what we've got is the first set of 5 that you're going to aim for 10 to 15 reps depending on where you are and your level of activity. You're doing it along this tempo, and then before you perform the second set, you get 1 minute to a minute and a half rest. So it's a set rest period, and it's done like that on purpose to try and focus more on the strengthening of this movement. Obviously, if you're a little bit more advanced and you're progressing on, you can add some weight to this box squat. You then go through to set 2, 10 reps, 10 to 15 reps, set 3, 4, and 5. Once you finish the 5 sets, move on to exercise number 2, and you can see exercise number 2 here has A2 twice, so it means that we're supersetting these exercises. So what's a superset? Basically means that you're doing a set of each of these movements back to back before you have a rest. So you can see here a stationary lunge. We're going to go through one set of 8 to 12 reps on each leg with that designated tempo. No rest. You're going to jump straight into a hip bridge on one leg, one set of 10 to 15 reps on each leg, and then you get that minute rest. You then return back to that first exercise after the minute and repeat that cycle 4 more times. So that's what a superset means there as we go through. From there, you'd go on to your third movement or fourth movement, but third individual exercise here, and that'd be a wall squat. We're going through 3 sets of a wall squat in this workout, but repetitions, it doesn't have a rep range, it just says max. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to go through your maximum amount of time that you can hold that wall squat there. So we go up there for the first set, sit on the wall, hit a timer. Maybe you're getting to 30 seconds, maybe you're getting to 2 minutes, maybe you're getting to 4 minutes. I'm not too sure where you're going to end up after all those exercises beforehand. After that, you're going to get at least a minute and a half off, and then you jump back in for a second set of as much time as you can hold that wall squat. Obviously, only having a minute and a half off, you might not be able to hold it for as long as you did the first time, but you've got a goal that you're going to try and work to, and it might drop down each set there. After that, we jump into your leg curls. You can see you do the 4 sets there by themselves, 8 reps to 12 reps, depending on where you're at in the way of conditioning and skill levels. And then you get 90 seconds rest after that as well. Okay, so you've finished the main strength set for your home workout. Now you're moving on to the Metcon. Now Metcon, short for Metabolic Conditioning, is a set of exercises that we've put together with restraints on time, recovery, the amount of rounds that you might be doing them for, so it works differently to the strength set. Here, you got to follow the instructions of the Metcon. So I'm going to show you a couple of different Metcons here. This one we've got 4 to 6 rounds with rest as needed. So what that means is we're going to be doing these 4 exercises for their reps that are allocated back to back, but only as quick as you can do it. And if you need rest, then having rest there as well. So 4 rounds is the goal. If it takes you 20 minutes because you have to have a big break after each set, then that's fine. But if you can, you're going to try and do these exercises back to back. Maybe have a bit of a breather at the end of the skipping before you jump back into that 5 squats. But realistically, we're trying to get this done as quick as we can with the right technique the whole way through and keeping the movement safe there. So you'd be going through the 5 squats, plank shoulder taps, mountain climbers, then the skips, then repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. If you can go for 5 or 6 rounds, then you're going to add 2 more rounds to that. So where that might be different to a Metcon here, we've got more of a circuit setup. So 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 3 to 6 rounds. So depending on where you're at from activity level, depict how many rounds you're going to go through. But here we've just got step ups, cross jumps, low plank, and curtsy squats. So 30 seconds on means 30 seconds of step ups. You then get 30 seconds of rest. 30 seconds of cross jumps, 30 seconds rest. 30 seconds at low plank, 30 seconds rest. 30 seconds of curtsy squats, 30 seconds rest. And that timer just keeps ticking over now for 3 rounds through minimum before you build on to the 4th, 5th, and 6th round if you can. The last version of this is a little bit different, just to give you another idea of how you can go through Metcon. This one we've got work for 2 minutes and 1 minute rest. So a bit different to the first Metcon there. You don't just keep going and rest as you need to. You're going to keep going for 2 minutes before you take that rest out. So with this Metcon, we've got 10 crunches, 10 up downs, 10 reverse lunges, and then 10 ankle taps on each leg. You're going to keep going through those 4 exercises as many times as you can, again with the right technique in a safe manner, for 2 minutes. Once you hit the 2 minute mark, you stop wherever you are in that set of exercises. You get a full minute rest. When the minute's finished up, you go straight back into where you left off and continue on that circuit through those 4 exercises before you have another minute rest. And then we repeat that one last time. So looking to repeat 3 times. You can add a little bit more in the way of rounds on there if you want to. Otherwise, you're just going to hold there. The last thing we're looking at here is the mobility set. So with the 4-week program, for instance, we've got 3 workouts and then 3 days that are going to involve mobility and some kind of cardiovascular exercise. Where we are in the Rockies here, this gives you a bit of a restriction on what you can choose, but other places of the world, you're going to have a little bit more variety in what you can choose to do, depending on the climate there. But with the mobility, if you choose the hip opener for 1 day, you're going to go through the 4 stretches that we've got down here, holding for 1 minute to 2 minutes on each, obviously doing both legs there. You're then going to go into a set of hip hinges, a set of squat holds after that to try and get a bit of activity through that new found range. And then you're going to repeat it 2 or 3 times through to kind of really establish that new range of motion. You can do this before or after your cardiovascular exercise for that day. So that could be something from low to moderate exercise, biking, swimming, walking, running, cross-country skiing. Depends what you're going to be looking for. The other option is obviously to choose an upper body opener, which is the one over here, and it's good to alternate between the two depending on what you've done the previous day and whether the previous workout's been more lower body dominant or more upper body dominant. And you can see that summary written down here on the programming. 6 days out of are working, 3 days of these set workouts, and 3 days with mobility and conditioning. So I hope that video gives you a bit of an understanding as to how to read a program, specifically the 4-week home program. I'll be putting up another video soon about tempo, just to break that down. I think it's something that's a little bit more technical to get your head around. And I've kind of broken it down differently as we walked into week 2 there as well, so you can get an understanding. Okay guys, keep up the sweat and talk to you soon.